Now, before the recording, we were discussing how we hate this. Let's move forward. Okay. All right, guys. So you guys should have your papers out just like yours. I'm going to be going back and forth when I tell you guys to fold or don't fold. So we're going to start with something relatively easy. Today we're moving forward on where things live on the periodic table. And I just want to start with one piece of info here. Okay. Yesterday we talked about atomic size. If you guys look at the green indicators, right here's an indicator for atomic size. Let's not erase it. Okay. Here's an indicator for atomic size. Here's an indicator for atomic size. So seeing how both of these work, where is the largest atom? Bottom. This is where the largest one. So we're going to write largest atom right here. And yes, it looks like I should calibrate, and I should have, but you know, we'll figure it out. Oh, it was rough. I can't get it calibrated. I'm going to have to shut everything down again. So this guy right here, we're just going to put an arrow right here and write biggest. Biggest atom. Okay. And then up here, what's that make this guy then? This makes this the smallest atom. Okay, and once again, you guys, I'm sorry I can't zoom in and zoom out on this. Just like we're having trouble calibrating, we're also having trouble zooming, okay? All right, so now we know where the biggest and the smallest are, and we understand that they grow proportionally between them, okay? So what I would like you guys to do now is we're gonna look at this bottom corner, bottom right corner-ish, okay? And I'm gonna have you guys draw a box, all right? And so if you guys look on this, your periodic table boxes are all 2 centimeters by 1 centimeter, okay? So now we're gonna draw 3 boxes. These boxes will be 1 centimeter tall and 4 centimeters long. So let me show you what I'm doing here. I am between periods 6 and 7. If you guys look over here and see period 6 and 7, right? I'm in between them, so I'm going to start right here on this line. And I'm just going to take my ruler just like you do, and I'm going to measure out 1/2 centimeter, and then I'm going to start drawing right here. So if I go out 1/2 centimeter, okay, I can do a stripe right here and a little stripe up. And then over here I'm going to go, how many centimeters long did I say it was? 4, so I'll have one here. One here, and then it's going to be 3 centimeters tall, so I can go up. We know this is the top of 2, so halfway here is 1/2. So I can put my ruler here, okay, and I can go out 1/2 centimeter, and I have a space here, and I have a space over here, 4 centimeters, and then here you go. This is where you're going to draw your box. Now remember, my ruler doesn't really work up here right now, so mine won't be pretty. You guys should make yours pretty as possible, okay? And then it'll be like this and like this. Once again, mine is ugly, yours should not be. So I'm gonna walk around and show you guys what I'm talking about. Did it go behind? It went behind the TV. So check it out. This is what I just drew on mine. So if you guys can see this one and make that happen, we'll be really happy. Okay. So it's going to be a 4 centimeter long box. So it's about 1/2 centimeter away from here, about 1/2 away from here. Okay. See how this is 6, 7, 6, 7, and that just slides all the way across to there. Okay. Tall, 1 centimeter tall. So a total of 3 centimeters tall. There you go. Now you got this looking good. Okay, you should get a pencil. All right, some of you guys aren't even listening to me. You just look at the instructions or hear the initial instructions, and you guys just start drawing it out, and it's perfect, okay? And I want you guys to know that you guys are spatial, okay? Now, when I say spatial, I'm not kidding. There's this thing called multiple intelligences. Some of you guys are mathematical, some of you guys are literal or linguistically based, so you do languages, okay? But some of you guys are spatially intelligent, meaning you know how things fit. You're the ones who might have to take your written driver's test 3 times, but once you get behind the wheel, you can do like a triple dome into a parallel park, and everyone else in the car screams, and you're like a glove. Okay? Some of you guys are going to struggle with this, and it's okay. As long as you have everything on this paper, you're going to be fine. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. But the seamsness of my students is what's going to drive some of you guys to restart this like 3 or 4 times to make it perfect, which is amusing enough. Okay? All right, guys. So we have regions on the periodic table. And so just above your 3 boxes here, I'm going to write down what the regions are. Let's see if this guy wants to work today since I lost the other one. So, let's see. Pen, great. All right, so regions, regions. All right, you guys, we have regions in the periodic table. All right, and there are 3 main regions, okay? Now, to get the regions, we have to figure out how to separate this periodic table, and we're going to separate it with some stairs, okay? So I am choosing blue, okay? Now, you guys will notice that I am not filling in my boxes. Filling in your boxes makes it very difficult to use. So whenever I say fill this in or color this, I actually mean trace it. Okay? So we're going to make some stairs, and the stairs are going to follow a pattern. 1, 2, 2, 2. Okay, and I'll show you guys what they are. So this guy right here is 1. This is 1, okay? And this one, let's go this way, is 2. Okay, and then here you drop 1 and you go 2 again. And then you drop 1 and you go 2 again. This set of stairs is a 1, 2, 2. Now it's very important that you label the correct stairs, so I'm going to do something I just told you not to do. I'm going to fill these in, so you know exactly what stairs you're doing, okay? Scares. Welcome to Monsters Inc. Okay, scares. Alright, so we have this guy is 1. This guy is the 2 one. There's 2 here, great. This one is 2. Great, and this one is 2, okay? So you guys, please, please, please do not fill in yours, but if you look, you can see where I filled mine in, okay? These are your stairs. These are 1, 2, 2, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 2, 2. I'm just waiting for you guys to get these guys outlined real quick, because I'm going to take this off because I don't want you guys to accidentally go home and fill this in if you're like watching the notes. If any of you guys use my videos, I know a lot of you guys go home and play them with no volume just to get help with like your math things. But I don't want you guys filling this in on accident. Once again, those of you guys who are spatial are incredibly quick at this. The rest of you aren't spatial. Teachers aren't supposed to tell you that, right? You're spatial. You guys in the back got it. And the rest of you guys are like, are you a jerk or do I not understand? Alright, I'm going to start undoing this real quick here. Okay, cool. So we still have those boxes, we still have our stairs. Alright, so when we start these stairs, I want you guys to know that these guys are the ones that split the periodic table. Alright, and, oh, that's still blue. I want it to be black. If it's black, what am I probably doing?
Pencil.
Yeah, I'm about ready to write some names down there. Okay, so, right here, these stairs, chemists are kind of funny. They don't have the word ish. Instead of saying ish, they say oids. Okay, so oid is like ish. Okay, so if I said that these were the metal oids, what's that mean?
They're kind of a metal.
They're metal-ish. Okay? So it's M-E-T-A-L O-I-D-S, metal-oids. And above here I'm going to write ish. Guess how these guys behave? Like metals. Kinda. Okay, so these metal-oids, they have behaviors of both different groups. They have groups of behaviors of the metals, and then they have behaviors of the non-metals. But it's nice because they split up the periodic table nicely for us, okay? They're also called the ish metals, or in this case we would say semi. The semi-metals, okay? These are the semi-metals, all right? And they're nice enough to split up the periodic table into 2 different groups, okay? So we made the metalloids blue, so I'm going to go back to my blue here again, and I'm going to write metalloids in this middle box that we made, okay? Okay, metalloids.
How do you spell oids?
O-I-D-S. Okay.
And is it 2 words?
No, it's just 1 word. It's just I'm sloppy. Once again, you guys, writing this on the Promethean board, it's really hard when I can't zoom in and out. And so I really do expect you guys to be a lot prettier than mine. Luckily, because of your Siebesness, usually your things are prettier than mine. Okay. All right. So now, you guys, we talked about the metalloids. So let's talk about two different groups here. I'm going to use green on this group. Okay, and I'm just going to once again not fill in. I'm going to outline. So I'm going to outline these other guys. Okay. So I have this here, up to here, all the way down here. All right, and these guys are kind of a gray area down here, but whatever. I'm going to stay on this side of my blue. On this side of my blue. And we finish out this box, okay? So this group is called the non-metals. Once again, chemistry gets an A for creativity. These aren't metals, what should we call them? How about non-metals? Okay. These are non-metals, all right? So I'm gonna go back to black here, which means I'm gonna label some stuff. Okay, all right, so what that means is we have like an area here, okay, and an area here. Okay, and these guys are non-metals. These are non-metals. All right. Okay, so in this non-metal area, they don't behave like metals. Yes.
You missed the metal.
Did I miss a metal?
Yeah. 85.
We go, okay, so stairs get weird. Let's hit up the stairs in a little bit. We can add that stair. So you guys will find out that there are multiple periodic tables that we use, and it was a metalloid, right? Missed a metalloid. So we're going to use a couple different periodic tables, and I want you guys to be able to choose why and how. But there's like 7 I use that show different things, okay? Some of them are outdated, and that's why they're a little different, and some of them show for different reasons. So we can add that one. We can add that one. If you want to add it, that's fine. Did you already add it? Because that's fine. If you already added it, you're not going to get points marked off for that. What he's talking about is there's an additional metalloid at the bottom of your stairs, like so you could trip on it if you were running downstairs. But we'll talk about that later. Okay? All right, cool. So now, you guys, we have this group over here. They're non-metals, and what's that make everything else? We'll go orange. Everything else is a what? Metal. So I'm just going to start here, and you guys will see that I go across here. Okay. And then I'm going to jump because I don't have my paper folded, but you guys probably do. Okay, and I'm going to go up here. And when will it end? It never ends. Still outlining. Go along the bottom here. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. Okay, cool. And these guys are the metals. Cool. I hear all the pencils dropping and picking up. You guys are doing a good job on this. Okay. All right, so we've established there are 3 regions. Things we can figure out from this are there are very few elements that have traits of both metals and non-metals. We call those the metalloids. Okay. We have a small group that's bigger than the metalloids, but it's still a pretty small group that are the non-metals, and those guys aren't going to conduct electricity. They're not going to be malleable, like they don't bend. Okay, so we have those guys. Can't run electricity through them, right? And then you guys have these guys here, which are the majority of them, which are all what? Metals. The majority of your stuff here is metals. Okay. Cool.
Like the sides, like here.
If you want to, you can. Just make sure you got it, because you can. Am I still on orange? Yes. You just make sure you don't want to mess up the other colors you got with it. But yes, you guys can totally fill this in. Cool. Okay. All right, and you guys' favorite is folding.
No, get out of here.
So I can't fold, okay, because I'm on a Promethean board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase. But you guys will find out I'm very careful about what I erase and what I don't erase. And so what's happening here is I am not erasing and you're not erasing. I'm folding the bottom sheet up. So do you guys remember when you guys made a fold? If you guys were to fold that up, that would make this go away. Right? Can't see these guys anymore. This is my pen that's not as fun. And let's see, I'm going to go over here to... Now notice I skipped 6 and 7. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to skip 13 and 14. Cool. Okay. All right, you guys, so now what I did in essence is I folded up that bottom layer, okay? So if you guys fold yours up, that all disappears, right?
How do we keep the 6 and 7?
Well, you don't have to. But I kept it there for a reason, because I'm going to show you guys where we're drawing something new. Everybody loves adding something new. Hey, look, you guys, so I have this folded just like you do, and now I have it folded just like you do. Oh, look at this. Okay, so let's talk about the box that I'm showing you guys, okay? I'm going to talk about it, and then out there in 2D world, I'm going to draw it on here really crappy, but I want to point out where I'm at here, okay, guys? So if you guys look, I'm adding boxes that are half the size of the other ones. So these half-size boxes are all going to be 1 centimeter tall and half a centimeter wide, okay? You're adding a total of 28 of them, I think, okay? 14 on the top, 14 on the bottom, okay? And they belong, if you lined up your rulers between groups 6 and 7, just put your ruler down the page between groups 6 and 7. So if you put it down the page, so if you guys all take, can I see your ruler? If you guys all take your ruler, most of you guys are going this way, don't do that, go up and down. And you go to 6 and 7. If you skip 1 centimeter and then you draw 2 centimeters, you'll have your first line between 6 and 7. Okay? Skip a centimeter and then draw the first part of your box. Then you're going to go over between 13 and 14, and you can kind of look on your paper to do that, and you're going to do it again here. Now I'm going to say this again on the board. Actually, I'll show this other side of the room. Okay? This is where I'm between 13 and 14. I'm right here. I skip a centimeter and I draw a 2 centimeter line. Here I'm between 6 and 7. I skip a centimeter and draw a 2 centimeter line. Okay? Alright, I'm going to go get on the board and hopefully that'll help you guys out. Okay? Alright, so remember, mine on the board is going to be crappy, because I'm not using a ruler. You guys, it should be very meticulous and pretty. Okay? Alright, so here I have 6 and 7. I'm going to go down with a ruler, like my ruler is just going to come down here, and then I'm going to skip a centimeter, and then I'm going to draw a straight line for 1 centimeter here, or 2 centimeters. I'm going to come down between 13 and 14. I'm going to skip a centimeter, and then I'm going to draw a straight down here, okay? And then if I look across, this should be 7 centimeters. This is kind of hard to do 10. Let me get down. This is 7 centimeters right along bottom, okay? And this is 7 centimeters, okay? And if you guys did a true 2 centimeter, it shouldn't quite touch the bottom of your fold. There should be a little space there, okay? Then, if you guys take your ruler again, you guys can draw straight down from these other lines between your groups, and it should cut it down again into 1 by 1 centimeter boxes. Actually 1 by 2, sorry. And then you guys will take this right across. Now it's 1 by 1. And then if you guys use your ruler again to go on the half centimeter, you will now have the same box that I showed you guys on mine. Oh, that's really bad. This one's my bad. Okay, and then what we're going to do after that is we're just going to take a little arrow here to here, a little line here to here, a little line here to here, and it tells us where this actually comes from. Okay, so I'm going to come back around and show you guys. Once again, some of you guys are spatial, some of you guys aren't. It's okay. So yeah, I can see those you guys who are actually doing measurements, because you do like have a centimeter space above it and like a half centimeter space below it. That's excellent. Because we're going to put some labels in it. I'm going to swap that out. There's some more.
You said half a centimeter wide?
Yeah, they end up being half a centimeter wide. Now, what you guys are building is you guys are building the box that actually falls out of the periodic table when we fold it. So when you guys are done and you just want to see the periodic table, you guys will be able to fold it, and this will look just like the normal periodic table. This is what you guys should be looking at when you're done with this whole mess. Okay? And then we'll fold out the rest of the mess.
How are we gonna focus?
Okay. How are we gonna what? Right so tiny? So here's the deal, ready? That's a good question. You guys have been filling in your boxes, right? You have 1 through 40 done? You don't have to fill in the bottom ones, because look, flip it down and open it. There's your information for those boxes. Okay? Pull it back up, where we're at.
So basically, can we just follow the lines here and split it in half?
Yeah, you totally can't save your time, right? Yeah. Okay. And once again, I want you guys to make these nice and pretty because I want them pretty. But the other thing is we won't be writing in these boxes, so it's okay if they're a little whack, okay? Probably not as whack as the ones on my board because that would make it crazy. I used to grade this very meticulously for the measurements because my students used to have to make the entire thing. They would spend 3 days just drawing lines on papers. And then I would put this clear piece of plastic over it with all the lines drawn on it and be like, you lose 3 points. Speaking of points, you guys, we're going to be doing this for a very long time. And so this is going to be worth probably 40 points, maybe even 50 points. Okay, so make sure this is worth it. Okay?
That's almost a test grade.
It's almost a test grade because we are going to do this all the way through. On the back, there's going to be stoichiometry. That's just a fancy word for dimensional analysis when we do it in chemistry, which you guys all know how to do already, but we're going to show it again, okay? All right, you guys, so I'm seeing you guys finish up these boxes. That's good. Yes. So it'll be 14 boxes long, it'll be 7 centimeters long. So check it out. Yes, so when you did your lines, you have it close. It should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. No, these are lines. Not the same. Okay. All right, you guys, so we're going to start talking a little bit about this because we need to start putting on, so we put on the regions, now we need to put on some families. Sometimes people refer to them as groups, which is hard because they're not all stacked in groups, but they're groups, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about families, all right?
I don't have one.
You don't have one? I bet you do.
Well, my dad is still working at one.
These things happen. All right, here we go, you guys ready? We're going to start on this left side, okay? So now, the reason that this is blank on the bottom is because it is folded up, correct? So my imaginary world board is folded up from the bottom. So, first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go back to black here because I'm going to put another box on here. This is going to be 1 centimeter down, and it's going to be 2 centimeters across. And so it's going to look like this. Okay, 1 centimeter down, 2 centimeters across. And that one might actually be a little bit low, but whatever's clever. And I'm going to write 2 words in it. And these words describe group 1 and group 2. Group 1 and group 2 are collectively known as the reactive metals. Okay, so I'm going to write reactive, R-E-C-A-T-I-V-E, reactive, R-E-A-C-T-I-V-E, and then metals, M-E-T-A-L-S. These are known as the reactive metals, okay? Group 1, we're going to make a line down here, okay? Group 1 is known as the alkali metals. And I'll spell that for you guys once I get it up here.
You don't have the scissors, huh, Mr. Moore?
I put them away every time in the, there's a big container over there.
Yeah, I know. The whole drawer's missing.
Oh, sorry. That's where I hide them. Okay.
Wait, so I'm confused.
So let me
What's the
just
little
write this
line?
out here. So the line that I wrote down, there's going to be another line right here, and it's going to show you where your earth metals go. Okay, but we'll talk about that. So these guys, alkali metals, is going to be written down as. Where did I write that one down? These are also this is the reactive metals. Reactive metals. Okay, the first group 1 is alkali. It's A-L-K-A-L-I. A-K-A-L-I-M-E-T-A-L-S. Alkali metals. The next one is alkaline, which is very similar.
Jack Hanratty and
Alpha.
Jaden Nava, please come to the office at this
Line.
time. Jack Hanratty and
Earth.
Jaden Nava.
These are the alkaline earth metals. Alkaline earth metals. Okay? So we have the alkali metals. We have the alkali earth metals. So they're drawn at this slant right here. Okay, they're slanted here because they go with these boxes. Okay? These boxes here. So, get that written down. Reactive metals, that's groups 1 and 2. Separately, they're known as the alkali metals, and these are the alkali earth metals. What do you got?
Can you spell them again?
Yes, you got it. So alkaline, so reactive metals, R-E-A-C-T-I-V-E, M-E-T-A-L-S. And then we have the alkali metals. which is down here, which is the ALKALI, ALKALI, and then metals, METALS. Okay, and then we have the alkaline earth metals. Okay, alkaline earth metals, which is ALKALINE, ALKALINE, and then earth, and I just wrote alkaline earth, but it is metals. Okay? All right, so I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about these groups. Yes? Yes, I just leave it as alkaline earth because everything on here is metals on this section, so you don't have to worry about that too much. Okay? All right, so looking at this one. For this one, you guys, so English break, what's it called when you give something human personalities or traits? Personification. What is it when we say it is or like or are or... Okay, so simile, and then what's the other one? Metaphor. Okay, so we have similes, metaphors, and we have personifications. I'm going to use all of it. They're just atoms. Atoms don't care. Okay, if we gave them an attribute, it would be that they want to hook up. That's it. Atoms are promiscuous. There you go. Okay, all right, but everything else I'm going to make up so that you start to get an idea of how they behave. If you can memorize how they behave, you can start to make some pretty crazy high-level chemistry predictions based on that. Okay. All right, so this first group, okay, of the reactive metals is extremely reactive. They're the alkali metals, okay? And the alkali metals, I usually draw this ridiculous guitar, okay? So it's like an axe guitar. So it's a capital A, okay? I know, right? It's a capital A. See my capital A there? Okay, and then it's got this long neck on it, okay? Like Jack Black would play this one. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so this is a totally in-your-face screaming guitar. If you guys went to see a band called Alkali Metals, the band would probably like come on stage early, drunk, and like kick off the pre-band, like the guys who open them for them. They would, I don't know, one of them might pass out during a song. Someone tries to get on stage, they might beat them up. They would flip off the crowd. You would probably see them do drugs on stage. You're like, this concert's amazing! And then at the end, one of them would vomit, the other ones would smash everything on stage. And then all of them, like the band would break up maybe 3 or 4 times during the tour. And then they would all die before 30 from cocaine overdose. This is the life of the alkali metals. Okay? All right, sometimes I write, I do this little bomb up here sometimes. Don't say bomb in school. Anyways, it's a A-bomb, so I put the letter A in here, and then I go boom. Okay, this totally describes how these guys behave, okay? This is the rock star lifestyle. Okay, here's the real deal. These guys desperately want to get rid of electrons, and so they're just ready to throw one electron. We're going to talk more about electron shells tomorrow, but for now, just know that they want to get rid of an electron. And so they're so happy when they get rid of it that they're desperate to get rid of it. All of these have to be stored under very, very safe conditions. Okay, potassium. Potassium will explode or catch on fire when exposed to water. So we store this in like this really oily liquid because the oily liquid has no water in it. But if we just set it out on the counter, what is naturally in the air in our atmosphere? Water. Could it react? Could it catch on fire? Could it burn down a lab?
Yes,
okay?
sir.
So you guys, I just need you guys to know that alkali metals are insane. They desperately want to get rid of an electron, and so as soon as they have a chance, they'll do it, and then we have an explosion, or we have a crazy reaction, okay? All right, so now earth metals, I always do this like cheesy like lowercase e guitar, so it's my acoustic. Yeah, I never was good at spelling, but this is my acoustic guitar. It's kind of like a banjo, okay? Maybe it's like I don't know, an acoustic guitar, okay? But so you go see this guy in concert, and he's playing his guitar, and he's singing. He's like sitting on a stool by himself, and he's singing about like, save the rainforest, and don't mess with the whales, or I'll sink your boat. And you're like, wait, did that escalate quickly? Yes, it did. This is the guy who, like, it's still gonna react. Okay, so it's singing a song about saving the forest, and then you see him later on the news because he had 2 chains. One he dropped in the middle of the big forest ranger monster bulldozer to knock it down, and the other one he used to chain himself to a giant tree because he loves it, and we should all save the forest. Kind of out of control. But the funny thing is you don't see it right when you see him. Another example of this one is the kids on your team. I don't care if it's football team, basketball team, soccer team, whatever. But it's the kid that when everything gets a little weird, people are pushing and shoving, they're like, guys, just take it down a notch. It's cool. We're just here to have fun and play a game. And then when they get pushed, they punch somebody and get kicked out of the game. boom, they just dropped somebody. I've had enough. You're like, you were the same guy a second ago who said, guys, we're just here to play. Let's have a good time. Okay, you guys, these guys are still reactive metals. They're still reactive metals, but they take a little time. We don't have to store these ones as carefully. Okay, we can set them in a mixture and then we might have to wait for a little bit. And then once that goes down, we know, okay, they're gonna react. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, still reactive metals. They're just not gonna blow up and get all crazy in your face for a little bit. Okay? All right, so guys, a little bit. Well, it depends which one it is. Remember, you guys, these are all gross exaggerations of how these guys behave. But if you memorize these silliness, when you go to look at it, you can start making some pretty good predictions. Some of them would take a couple minutes, some of them would take a couple seconds. Because some of these first level guys, they don't even take a second. The minute that, or the instant that they're put together, they start to react. These guys, sometimes you got 5 seconds, so you can drop these ones in the toilet and run out. These ones, you have to have protective gear. We're gonna move on. Okay. All right, you guys, so check it out. So now you guys have your papers folded, right? So this next one's kind of weird, okay? This next one is a giant bass guitar. It's a capital T, okay? It's a capital T because this area is known as the transition metals, okay? So I just want to real quick put my capital T on here. I'm gonna start drawing it right here because it's over my group 3, all right? Because group 3 is where the transition metals start. And I'm just gonna make a T here, okay? And then bring it across here and then kind of come up. Now here's the trick about my T. It's actually lining up right here, and the T actually could come up to like right here and like right here, okay? And then this T is just gonna get all in this carbon's business, and the bass guitar is gonna come all the way over here, and then it'll end up being a bass guitar right here, okay? And then come this way. It's a very long guitar, okay? So remember, it's only got the split because mine's not folded, right? So now I'm going to show you guys mine at the risk of messing your lives up because the guitar's in a different place on my old notes, but I had to move it so we could get some more high quality stuff in. So here on my old notes is the capital T guitar, but I need this space for something else later. So I moved it up top. But do you see how it could be right here and then go across? Okay. Now it's a giant capital T. So capital T stands for transition metals. Okay, so if you guys have ever paid attention to a bass player in the band, they're usually pretty chill. You don't hear about a band, like a band breaking up, because the creative differences of the bass player. Okay, it's pretty crazy. If you guys have ever seen, a bass player, just like what it is up here, a bass player just totally rocking out. This is a bass player totally rocking out. Okay, that's what they do, and this is them super chill. It's still the same. You guys, bass in a bass line in a song, most songs, your bass line is this solid, it's this solid on the beat bass sound that just keeps the thing moving forward. Okay? It's still rock and roll, but it's a lot more predictable. Okay? Very rarely do you have a crazy like melt off your face bass solo. Usually you have like a short bass riff, or a bass can step out and do something real quick and then go back in. But the bass is the steady beat. So when we look at the transition metals, these guys are like the steady beat of the metals. Okay, these guys are reliable. They're the ones we work with all the time. Okay, so like iron is one of these. We make a lot of things out of iron because it takes a long time to react with iron. If you take iron and put it in the water, yes, it will rust. Okay, but as it rusts, the outside will rust, and then the inside is actually protected by the rust for quite a while. Okay, they're not going to just explode. Okay, so you guys will find that a lot of these transition metals, we use them in like coins. We use them in things that we need to be durable and last. Because the bass player is the one in the band that's steady, that we can rely on to provide the beat for the music. Okay, does that make sense to you guys?
Is it fine if I accidentally?
No, you're gonna wreck your whole life. Draw it up top. Why are you copying my old stuff? All right, guys, here we go. All right, guys, so now let me put you guys down here where the actual transition metals actually live, okay?
It's okay if we put it through the carbon atom?
Yeah, mine goes right into my carbon little drawing, right? Okay. And here it is. Okay, cool. All right, you guys, so I'm going back black here, so I'm gonna go from this little spot right here, okay? So I'm gonna go down about 1/2 centimeter, maybe even not 1/2 centimeter, and put a tick mark here, and then way over here, okay, where we dropped off, I'm gonna put a little tick mark right here, okay? And then these guys are gonna go across on a line along the bottom oops, I went too far. Because I should have my paper folded. So let's see here. Fold stops here, right? Okay. And then it'll pick up. It'll pick up right here again for just a second. So this whole space here, you guys, is the transition metals. And I'm going to write this in, but then I'll spell it for you guys, okay? So this is your transition metals. So transition, T-R-A-N-S-I-T-I-O-N, T-R-A-N-S-I-T-I-O-N, transition metals, okay? And it's this whole big chunk of metals, okay? Now, we talked about two specific groups. We talked about the alkaline and the alkaline earth metals, right? Now we're going to talk about another group that we pull out. So these two boxes down here, you guys, this is what we're going to talk about, okay?
Wait,
Yes.
sorry, but when you had transition metals, did you fold it down or did you keep it up?
No, you kept it up. We're going to keep the whole thing up, okay? We're going to keep the whole thing up, okay? So right now you're covering your numbers and you're covering your G18, right? Okay?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so now you guys, we got two groups right here. All right, and I'll tell you about them after we add them in. So there's a little line right here and a little line right here, and in between it, we're gonna write in what this group is called, okay? And this group is called the lanthanoids. So I have a L-A-N-T-H-A-N-I-O-D-S, lanthanoids. It's L-A-N-T-H-A-N-I-O-D-S, lanthanoids. They're also known as the rare earth metals. They're not as rare as they used to be, but they're the rare earth metals. Okay, so rare earth. So lanthanoid or rare earth.
Can you
Now-
spell it again?
Yes, I can. Lanthanoids. L-A-N-T-H-A-N-I-O-D-S. Lanthanoids. Okay?
But isn't it
O-I-D-S? Yes, sorry, O-I-D-S. Sorry, guys. L-A-N-T-H-A-N-O-I-D-S. Oids. Sorry, guys. Okay, thanks for correcting me on that. Now, underneath here, you guys, we have another group. Okay, and this group's called the actinoids. So these guys are the A-C-T-I-N-O-I-D-S. Actinoids. A-C-T-I-N-O-I-D-S. Actinoids. Okay, now what's funny is here's chemistry world for you, right? We're not really creative at all. This element right here and this element right here, they're the same two as this element here and this element here, right? We just pulled them out. This is like lanthoside and this is like actinoid. Like, they just named them off the ones in the group 3. So remember, all of these behave like group 3 elements, and they all fit under here right in these group 3. So they just named the two groups right after the element that lives there. Okay, that's all they did. Yes.
It's easier to show you after class.
Okay, cool. Check on these. Okay, all right. Okay, you guys, so now looking at this, let's see. Bump. Okay, so that's gonna take care of most of our metals. Okay? All right, guys? We're gonna get into some more detailed stuff. So once again, you guys, we make this transition from like grade school, like this is an atom, to middle school, like this is how these guys formed equations, to high school, which is like this is how we name things, this is how we balance them, this is how we predict who's gonna react with who, and this is how we complete these electron shells, which we'll get crazy with, okay? So if you're looking at something like maybe I missed something, we might add it later. Okay, but right now we're just gonna work through on the simple stuff, okay? Now we gotta talk about these other guys who are non-metals, okay? So the first one up here, I'm gonna draw a little crown up here. Which group do you guys think I'm talking about? These are the noble gases. Okay, here's my crown. Maybe I'll put a fun little old jewel on here. Okay, so these guys here. Okay, so these guys are noble. And if you guys know anything about nobility, they don't like to share, and they don't want to hook up with anybody but other noble gases. Okay, so let's see. I should make the pen black here, and we're gonna write noble gas down here. So just like we did the slanted lines before, we're gonna do a slanted line here. And we're going to write noble gas. N-O-B-L-E, noble. Or is it E-L? It's E-L, right? N-O-B-L-E? Okay. Noble gases. Okay. And then, let's see. And then there's the next line next to it. As long as we're down here, we might as well write them in. but these guys are the halogens. So it's Halogens. 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 Okay. So let's talk about noble gases first. Okay. In this scenario, we talk about how they don't want to hook up with anybody. Did you guys talk about sickle cell anemia in genetics last year in 8th grade? Okay, so you have this group of nobles in Russia, and there's all this weird stuff going on. Anything between civil wars, conflicts, fights, family messes, riots. What happened is nobility, they started kind of getting killed off. And so they went from like intermarrying at the 3rd cousin level to intermarrying at the 2nd cousin level and then intermarrying at the 3rd cousin level. The reason they did that was they didn't want to share any wealth. They didn't want to share power, they didn't want to share titles, they didn't want to share wealth. And what happened was they ended up interbreeding, and they interbred sickle cell anemia, which is really dangerous because if you have sickle cell anemia, there's different levels of it, but if you have it really bad, your bleeding won't stop. And so the last group of the Russian royals, the Russian nobles, they all bled out before 16. So none of them had a chance to breed, so the whole like royal group died off because they wouldn't share. Flash forward to a periodic table. Periodic table here, they don't share their electrons. They don't want to take electrons, they don't want to share electrons, because they have the perfect amount of electrons they want to be perfect. Everybody else wants to be like the noble gases. Example, the alkali earth metal, or alkali metals. They want to desperately be like the noble gases, and to do that, they give away 1 electron, so they can be like the noble gases. These guys, the halogens, we also refer to these guys as the salts. So sorry about my salt shaker here. It's poorly drawn. Okay. This, I'm going to put an S on it so you know it's salt. That looks like a 5, but whatever. This is my salt shaker. Okay. Guess what these things usually turn into when they hook up with stuff?
Noble gases.
Salts. Okay, these guys, the halogens, end up becoming salt. One of the halogens is chlorine. Okay, one of the alkali earth metals is sodium. So when we have sodium, they want to give away an electron. When we have chlorine, they want to pick up an electron. And so we have salt, NaCl, right? Okay, and then they sit there all salty, wishing they were noble gases still. See what I did there? Okay, we're going to move on. Okay, great. Okay. Now, once again, chemists are so creative, and here we go. It's funny how creative they can be in a laboratory, but when it comes to naming, they're just weak sauce. Ready? We're going to talk specifically about these 6 guys right here. These 6 guys right here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These guys have a very fancy name. They're known as the other non-metals.
Oh my.
Right? I mean, like, how do they come up with these? It's so creative. The other non-metals. They're the non-metals, but they're not like those ones. They're the other ones. Okay, now what's funny about these, you guys should have these listed. What are some of the other non-metals? Oxygen, carbon, nitrogen. Do you guys recognize some of these? Are these big players? You guys, when we talk about organic things, things that are alive, these are big players, okay? And so these guys, these other non-metals are very important, but each one has kind of a different behavior when it hooks up with different things. So when we group the whole periodic table, like we just did, into all of these different families, it tells us a lot about the family, and we can start to study and figure out how it's going to behave when it hooks up with a different family. Okay, now remember, once they hook up, are they totally different? Sodium, poisonous. Chloride, poisonous. Hooks up, makes salt, and we eat it, and we actually need it to survive. Remember, you guys, this just tells us how they behave by themselves, okay? And so we can start with that when we decide who should hook up and who shouldn't hook up, okay? Questions on this mess so far? Okay, guys, so check it out. For tonight, you have 2 things you need to do. You guys need to finish 41 through 80, and you guys need to outline, I believe we're on 5.2 and 5.3, and you'll find out 5.2 and 5.3 are just about everything I taught you. They're going to tell you the real sciencey component. Just remember my stories I taught you, because it'll tell you the personality component, and then science comes up after that. Cool?
Alright.